Hello class, welcome to Mr. P's Mathland Online. This video is going to help us writing numbers when we go from expanded form to word form. Here is a number in expanded form. I can tell it's an expanded form because I can see my little addition symbols, and I know that a number broken apart is turned into an addition expression. So I can see place values. If I look carefully, I can see digits in place values, so I can see that this is an expanded form. Now, I want to write this in word form. However, there's an important step when you go from expanded form to word form, and that's figuring out what the number is in standard form. Because normally we read numbers in standard form. So we're going to want to take this number and put it in standard form. To do that, we're going to have to do a little bit of detective work. I know that there's going to be a decimal in this number. I can tell by the numbers that I have that there is going to be a digit in the tenths and a digit in the hundredths. And I also have a digit in the ones. So it is very important to know your place values, because then it's just putting it back together. The 2 is in the hundredths because this is 200ths. Let's see, the 6 is in the tenths, so I'm going to put it in my number there. And my 3 is in 3 ones. So this is the standard form of the number. This is the number that we can read a little bit easier. Now, if you can read the number, then you can write it in word form, because as you read it, listen to yourself. That's exactly how you're going to have to write it. So when we read a number, we can start with the whole number, 3. 3. When we see the decimal, we're going to read it as and. And to read the decimal number, we kind of read it like it's a whole number, 62. But because it's a decimal, I have to tell you what size parts these 62 parts are. And I do that by reading the last place value of the decimal, 62 hundredths. And that's our word form. Word form is just the number written in words. So if you have a number in expanded form, you change it into standard form, and then you read it into word form. Try this one on your own and see what you come up with. Pause the video. Okay, hopefully you've unpaused it. So this is expanded form. I can see that I have my numbers, and they're kind of broken up by place values because I see tenths and hundredths. I see that's in the ones, and it's all put together with these little addition symbols. So it's an expanded form. It's a number that's broken up by its place values. So I need to put it together now. The fractions are going to tell me that I have parts. So when I put it together, I can put it together with a decimal. And I'm going to put it together by putting my whole numbers on the one side, and that's going to be in the ones because that's in the ones place. Tenths, I know, go right here next to the decimal, and I have 3 of them. Hundredths go right next to the tenths, and I have 2 of those. So now I just have to read it. Start with my whole number, 8, decimal, and read the decimal, 32, and say the last place value, what the size of the parts are, 8 and 32 hundredths. For my word form, 8 and 32 hundredths. And that's how we go from expanded form to word form. We got to make a little stop in the standard form so that we can read it like a standard number. Try this one now. Okay, hopefully you've unpaused and let's see how you do. This one looks a little weird. I can see that I have some place values here. I have my tenths and I have my hundredths, and I have tens. I can see that I have my addition symbols, and that kind of markers in between the place values. So you could just put parentheses around them so you can think about them a little bit easier. These are my place values. I know I'm going to have a decimal because I have fractions and those are my parts. So then I have to think, the 7 is in the tens place value, and that is 2 place values away from the decimal. So the 7 is going to go in the tens. But then I go right to my tenths, and my tenths are all the way over here, and I have 5 of them. And I also have these hundredths, which is right next to my tenths, and I have 3 of those. So you might notice something seems a little weird with this one. I wonder if you figured it out. If you have an empty place value, because I have there's like no ones here, it goes right from tens to tenths, I have to put a 0 so that I just don't have an empty place value. That would look kind of weird. And now that I have my number, you read it. 70 and 53 hundredths. And then you would write it. 70 and 53 hundredths. And that's how you go from expanded form to word form, with a little stop to standard form. I hope this has helped. If you need to rewatch it, rewatch it. If you need to get help from a teacher, let us know. Ask a teacher. Otherwise, continue on in math. Have a wonderful day. And I'm going to count down from 5 now. 5, 4,